Making an ointment is easy. It takes a while, but it's not too hard. All you need are 3 ingredients. You just need some type of oil or rendered fat, such as lard. You need your herb, and you need some beeswax. An ointment consists of oils or melted fats that have the medicinal properties of the herbs extracted into them, and beeswax is added as a thickener. You can make ointments with petroleum products such as petroleum jelly, but organic is recommended. A common amount that we're going to use today ratio is 2 cups of olive oil, 1 ounce of dried herb, although if you have fresh herb then you double that amount to 2 ounces, and half a cup of melted beeswax. Another easy way is just put your herbs in the double boiler and then cover that with a 1/2 inch of oil or melted fat. We want to use a double boiler or a pan set over a pan of boiling water so that it is simmered through indirect heat. We don't want to scorch the oil or get it too hot. And again, be careful because oil will get very hot. Avoid spills and just be cautious of grease burns. But what we're going to do is put the oil in the double boiler and the herbs and simmer them for 1 to 2 hours until the herbs are crisp. After simmering, strain off the herbs by pouring them through a cloth or nylon sieve and then just discard the herbs. All we need right now at the moment is oil. If you need to, put on thick rubber gloves and you can use that to strain and squeeze your cloth as you strain it. Once we put the oil back in the pan and put it on the double boiler, then we're ready to add the beeswax. You don't want to add the beeswax beforehand because you won't be able to strain it. So after we strain it, then we're going to add the beeswax. And the best way to do this is just get a grater and grate it into the fine pieces, and that way it'll melt in easier. Or you could just put it in there by chunks, it'll just take longer to melt. The beeswax is just a thickener, so you'll add as much as you want depending on how you want it to turn out. The more you add, the thicker it will be. The less you add, the more like a runnier ointment it will be. The way you'll test for consistency is to have a small platter with some cold water in it, and every now and then, once the beeswax is melted in, put a couple drops of the oil in the cold water. It will harden up, and you can get an idea of the texture and the consistency that it will have. Ideally, you want an ointment that is firm enough so that when you press it with your finger, it takes a second before the body heat melts it. Something like a butter consistency. Although, again, depending on how you want to use it, will depend on the consistency that you want. For some things, you may want a runnier ointment that will be easier to apply to large areas. For some things, you may just want to be thicker because you'll just be using small amounts. For like example, a lip balm or something. So the consistency is up to you, but this is how you test it. Once you have the consistency that you want, then you'll pour it into your containers. Have your containers that you're going to be pouring the ointment into all ready to go, because once you start pouring the oil into them, it's going to start setting up real quickly. So pour off your oil into your containers and then just let them sit for several hours or until they completely firm up, and then cap them and you're ready to go. For some ointments where you're not adding organic material, for example, if you're making a sulfur ointment, all you need to do is melt some type of oil or fat and add the sulfur to that and then beeswax. And you don't have to worry about cooking it a long time and straining it.